Yeah, you go so fast. I'll work with you.
All right, you want me to go slower? 3, 2.
No, I already turned it on.
You got it. Okay, cool. All right. Well, hey, look, I know people are still joining, but we'll go ahead and get kicked off here. Welcome to class. I want to say class number 6 of 7. So the proverbial light is at the end of the tunnel. You guys have done great. You know, we're gonna. It'll be a little bit different today. From it won't be as much me talking. It's gonna be more you guys talking, and then we've got a little bit more video to show you. But you know, so last week was I'll say pretty intense with regard to the amount of you know, data we covered on, you know, finances and money and the cost of credit and all that kind of stuff. So we didn't finish. I don't know if you guys could tell, but I was pretty tired by the end of the night last week. So we will get into the retirement piece and some of the slideware on retirement. But you know, today we're continue doing some of the really want to kick off with some more of the, you know, the grant proposal requests and what you guys have found. And so we'll do some of that. Then we'll watch a couple of videos on a couple of past GU trips and or on GU trips in general. Then we'll get into the slideware on retirement itself. And then we'll finish up with a couple more, hopefully a couple more of the grant requests, grant proposals, so that we get most of those, if not all of them, done today. And then at the end, I'll give you kind of an overview of what we'll be looking to do next week. But you know, before we get started, does anybody have any questions on what we covered last week, or comments, or you know, anything? Nothing. You guys are too easy on me sometimes, I think. All right. So we're going to kick off. I'm thinking, so got an email this week from, I'm sorry, hold on. Somebody just sent me a message. Sorry. It never ends. So at any rate, Monique, I'm going to put you on the spot first. You know, because I think Monique had a couple of questions about the organization she was most interested in, but it didn't score quite as well as, you know, as kind of the guidelines suggested. So Monique asked if she should find another organization, but I thought, you know, it might be really good. You know, we can learn a lot from things that maybe didn't turn out the way we thought they would. So Monique, if you could, if I know I'm kind of putting you on the spot, I should have told you I was going to do this. Can you run us through your organization, and then we'll spend maybe a little extra time on the 990 and where you think they kind of, where it was lacking, or where it lost points. And then we'll, you know, we can talk a little bit more about the next steps with that one. Are you ready?
Yeah. So I'll pull my grant proposal and just kind of go over my organization.
Hey, Monique, hold on just a sec. I think your connection is pretty bad. Maybe while you're talking, turn the video off. I know normally we always say everybody put your video on, but maybe if you turn the video off, we'll be able to hear you a little bit better.
Okay.
So go ahead, start again, please. Okay, so my good idea maybe wasn't such a good idea. All right, Monique, we'll try and come back to you.
I'm ready. I'm just pulling my grant proposal. Okay, I was ready, but that's fine. You can come back.
Oh, no, I can't. Well, so now I can hear you fine. So go ahead.
Oh, okay. You're having a hard time hearing me. Okay, I'm sorry. Here we go.
Monique, you there?
Okay, we will come back.
Project. Huh? You guys?
Yeah, we lost you again for a few seconds.
Okay, let me try to get my connection a little bit better.
Okay, all right. Well, while you're doing that, who wants to go next?
Bill,
Everybody's going to go.
I'll go, Bill. I don't feel very confident, but this is good for me. But I'll go.
All right,
All right.
please.
I was really impressed by you saying find something that you're passionate about. And I initially thought I wanted to do women who've been abused or something like that because of my own story. However, as I really thought about it and I thought about what I do mostly with people within Cross Purpose and just my own friendships, it's definitely touches Warren Village, who is a nonprofit in our area who helps single parents with housing so they can go and live there for a couple of years. They do education for the younger children. They help with budgeting. They help you save money while you're in the program. They're definitely partners with Cross Purpose. They gave us a call a week or so ago and said, we have 6 more units open. Do you have any leaders that need housing? And just very supportive. And so Champ actually helped me do the math part. But I was very encouraged as I just studied the website. I've met some of their staff and I hear from the people in their program that is a huge blessing. And I think I was encouraged as we did the numbers going, yeah, it seems to be a positive thing. So I'd be glad to walk through that with you if you want me to.
Sure.
Okay, so how do I do this again?
Well, you can actually just kind of walk us through the major categories.
Okay.
And then kind of, you don't really have to go through all the math, Jen. You can just kind of, okay, here's,
Percentage
here's
or-
where they were in program revenue and
Okay.
highly compensated individuals and so on.
Okay, so page 1, the program revenue or program service revenue from line 9, they got a 3 points. So that it looks like it does not come from charging for stuff. The highest paid salary, they also got a 3 points. So there's no one that gets 170,000 or more. Page 9, the statement of revenue, they also got 3 points. Shows how much of their funding comes from government grants, very, very little. Statement for functional expenses was also a 3. Actually, everything got a 3 except for number 2. And they were at 10.5% for how much of their expenses are allocated to fundraising.
Okay.
And so the total score was a 17 that we
Okay.
tallied up.
That sounds great. So how long have they been around?
Oh, they've been around for a while. I didn't find that on their I didn't dig for that on their website, but I
Okay.
think around 15 to 20, actually longer. I think more like 25 to 30 years for a while.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
they've been around for a while.
That's great. And some of the people that are on staff there. Have you had an opportunity to volunteer or do you think you will in the future?
I think I will in the future. It's something that because I hear of them every few months and they've over the last year especially, God keeps bringing them across my path. I do want to go visit them and volunteer, but I've met with 2 of their staff and we actually are starting to partner together on different individuals, which has been great. And I know actually some of their participants, which I've been very encouraged, and I get to hear how they're blessed by it. But I've been by their property 2 times in the last year, but I haven't had a sit down meeting or like a tour or anything. But yes.
Awesome. That's great. Perfect. Anybody have any questions? Dan, any comments? Sometimes I like to just throw it to Dan when he's muted just to see if he's still awake with us.
How many units do they have total? I think you said they had 6 open. What are their total number of units?
Now I am looking on their website, and it doesn't say on the website, and I have not asked them that question. The facts that I do see on their website that are updated from this year, let me pull that up, was they got 90% of their residents transitioned into permanent housing. These are the obvious ones. 54% earned a certification, something toward a degree. And then 80% of the children hit their math or literacy benchmarks. Those are the obvious ones from last year. But I can find that out because I need to do that 2-page. I haven't done that. So I need to do that. I can put that in the research that I do.
Okay. Very good. Thank you. Nice job. Who's next?
Okay, I'll go next.
I can't, who was that?
I'll go. Tawanda.
Great. Hey, Tawanda, go for it.
Okay. So the organization that I chose was, let me go to the top. I chose the Colorado Children's Home. And well, now they are called the Tennyson Center for Children on 2950 Tennyson Street. And what they do are, sorry, I'm trying to read it. Okay, so the Tennyson Center for Children has served Colorado children of neglected and traumatized since 1904. So they provide a safe and stable home for kids 5 to 18 who are facing critical circumstances and need residential care. And an accredited therapeutic K through 12 with a 3-to-1 student to staff ratio on campus, and an in-home community service in 15 counties across the state. And they actually are with the one that Jan just did. They're part of them too. So they, does this organization have an impact? 100% of families who stay in Warren Village stay together. 99% of residents and children avoided hospitalization, and $2 million a year is avoided in police contacts. And so why I chose this organization is because this is an organization, I was actually lived there when I was a kid for about 3 years. And they really impacted my life. The employees really showed that they cared about me, and just everybody that was there with me too, they helped them, and everybody changed, and just everybody left better than they came in. So they do have impacts, and that's why I chose this organization. And do I plan to be involved in this organization? I do. I hope to partner with them with Fair Southern Mall and be able to do some shoots or do whatever I can. And I saw I can make like backpacks and other kind of donations that they need for the kids and everything. And for the 990 analysis, I have a score, their score is 17, and everything was 3, except I got 2 points on the overhead expenses, because I expect that because they're taking care of a lot of kids. So that's kind of understandable, but it's still a high score. And that's it.
Very good. Yeah, I would imagine overhead when you're running a home for kids and all staff and everything, probably, you know, it's probably good that they got 2, honestly. That's on that one. So nice. Anybody have any questions for Tawanda? Very, very nice job.
I may have missed it, but how many kids did you say they serve in a year or something?
They don't actually say how many they serve, but they said that 99% of them that they serve, they avoid police contact, and they're able to keep 100% of the families together that they do work with.
Very good. Very nice. Great. Well, good job. Thank you. All right. Who's next?
I should probably go next because I don't know how long I'm going to have my internet connection.
Okay.
Something about some rolling blackouts in Montbello, but I don't know if that's true or not. So,
It sounds like you're in California. They're doing that in California right now, Sheila.
yeah, it just like went out. I can get it on my work computer, but not my home computer. So, let me open my file. Okay. So I'm doing Wings Foundation. I think I sent my information. Did you all get it? Right. Okay. So Wings, their mission is to break the cycle and heal the wounds of childhood sexual abuse by providing education, advocacy, and support to adult survivors, loved ones, providers, and communities. Specifically, they work to connect survivors, loved ones, and connect survivors, loved ones, providers, and communities with the resources they need to talk about and heal and thrive from childhood sexual abuse trauma, so that they can live their fullest and healthiest lives. The impact, I attached their 2018 annual report. However, at a glance, I said the majority of their support is received from state and federal grants. 3,126 group sessions held from last report in 2018. 215 individuals received support services. 24 community presentations were held and impacted 1,238 individuals. And they do their fundraising is a race for healing, community outreach, and a One Voice project. The scorecard, had 3 points. Everything had 3 points with the exception of management and their overhead expenses. And then I want to work with this organization, or I'm interested in this organization because this organization mirrors what I want to do with my ministry, A Survivor's Journey. So far, I have graduated 3 survivor partners from my ministry, and am building a community pantry. And that community pantry will be able to help women in need with necessities, toiletries, necessities. And then I'm working with my ally, and we're bringing a health and wellness component to Cross Purpose and Providence Bible Church via Zoom next month. So there's a lot going on with my ministry. I'm really proud of it, but at the same time, there's more that I can do. And so I'm hoping to work with the Wings Foundation in their speakers bureau to bring my story to more people for more assistance, kind of embracing the community of women that need help.
So, Sheila, do they have I guess, a physical facility or more than one facility, or how, where do they?
Yeah. They have
Okay.
a physical facility. The physical facility is located in Lakewood, but they
Okay.
also do, they also help communities across Colorado and across the nation. So I'm going to say that I think that those presentations, like they will find someone that's in that city or that's looking for a support group, or they'll do the support group remotely.
All right, so let's see. Again, anybody have any questions for Sheila? So this one, it's the Wings Foundation, and then tell me the name of your organization again.
My organization is called A Survivor's Journey.
Okay, thank you. I wrote it down at one point when you said it, and then I couldn't read my handwriting. So
I don't have a 990 or anything, so.
oh, that's okay. That's all right. I really appreciate, your heart and you sharing, and then learning about, what's going on next in your life. So any questions for Sheila? Nice job.
Hey, Sheila, this is Dan. Are you on Facebook by chance?
Yeah, The Survivor's Journey is on Facebook.
Well, why don't you put your information on the Giving University page? We'd be happy to put that up there for you. You could tell us a little bit, a couple paragraphs about what you're doing.
Okay.
All right. Other questions or comments? Nice job.
Thank you. And once again, if you lose me, it's not me, it's the internet out here. And I'm too kind of self-conscious with my asthma to go out to Starbucks or anywhere to get on Wi-Fi. So if you lose
I understand. Well, you made it through, so that's great.
Okay, thank you.
You guys probably wonder why I keep looking over here, because I have all of you on this big screen, and of course the camera's over here. So it's not that I'm looking away from you guys. I really feel like I'm looking at you now, but I'm not. So, okay.
Oh,
you all
that makes sense, man. I was wondering that. I've been wondering that since we started the class.
Bill can't look at the camera. What's the matter with him? You're actually on that's my laptop is right there, but the pictures are really small. And my eyes are getting worse and worse. Okay. Who would like to go next? We'll do one or two more.
I'll go next.
Okay, Malay, please.
All right. I did the Colorado Criminal Justice Reform Coalition. They're right in Denver off of 12th and Mariposa. The organization, they're founded in response to communities who've been impacted by incarceration, and just off their website, their mission is to reduce the overuse of criminal justice system and advance community health and safety. And the purpose of their action plan that they take is to help by shifting the responsibility for public safety from a criminal justice system driven by punishment to one that is community led and rooted in healing, accountability, transformation, and just recognition of each person's story. Does this organization have an impact? Yes. Their project, they have a project currently going on right now where they are transforming that new thing from instead of being released from custody, instead of it being a torture or just a whole by the book program, it's tailored. They follow a plan or what would work for that individual. So it's individual based. And then they reach out to their families and loved ones. And I also found out that they've taken money to invest in city parks and rec centers in the Denver metro area, just to increase the likeliness of their kids, if they have kids, or their families, to spend more time together in those places. I filled out the 990 scorecard and they scored a 17. I have yet to scan in that scorecard, but I will. And why I selected this program, when I turned in my assignment, I kind of went in depth, but I myself have been incarcerated one too many times, and just always blamed everyone and everything else but myself for everything that I've been through, until just this last bid I did, where I started to realize, like, it's actually my thinking process, it's my thoughts, it's the people I hang out with, and like what I wanted to do, my goals, so anyways, once I was able to like really switch it all up, I see the benefit of, like, you know, hanging out with people, like a community of people who support you, and then just being like reading my word, reading like self development books and just self-help books, reaching out for help, and then recognizing like who's really beneficial in your life and who's really not. So I find that program, the CCJRC, they for them to switch their shift from like a punishment type of program, like how prison is, how jail is, to a community-led and helping individuals by what they want to do, whether it's like career, education, building relationships with their kids, with their families. That is what I found to be like the most, the best part. Have I worked with them in the past? No, I haven't. Do I plan on it? I do. I do. I'm currently still a halfway house client, so I do have to wait until I'm off. But when I am, I do plan on working with them.
Awesome, thank you. And you said the score was a 17?
Yes.
Yeah, nice, okay.
I'll have to get the scorecard scanned over to you. I just got the hard copy filled out the other day.
No problem. You know, you can even just take a picture of it and send it.
Okay.
Yeah, good stuff. All right. Any questions? Nicely done.
Thank you.
Let's see what you do with it. All right. All right, we'll do one more, and then there will be time later to do a few more at the end. But why don't we roll into one more discussion, and then we'll shift over to watching a little bit of video.
I'll go.
All right. You're back.
Yep, I'm back.
All right, awesome. Go ahead, Nick.
Okay, so the organization that I chose to do is called Project Pays. And this organization is located off of 4140 Tijon Street in Denver. So a little about this organization and its purposes is ending violence by empowering youth to build healthy relationships. Project PAVE was established in 1986 in response to a number of violent incidences in the Denver area. Community leaders come together to create a framework for intervening early in the lives of youth and families exposed to relationship violence, and to promote alternatives to violence in youth relationships. So some of the activities that they do offer classes to these youth, and since everything with the COVID-19 is going on, they are doing their classes virtually right now, so everything's online with these classes. So they do have a youth community educator program, which it's a youth-led program to train young people as peer educators on teen dating violence and violence prevention. They have a True Man course, which is a multi-session curriculum focused on masculinity to end relationship violence. They have a Path to Healthy Relationships curriculum that's focused on teaching middle schoolers and high schoolers about healthy relationships, dating, and ending violence. They also have a school-based therapy class, which is a class for teens who have experienced trauma, and it's to inform individuals with violence within the community. And they also have an intervention group. And they do have the Paid Education at Home, which is a virtual tool for both youth and parents to focus on healthy relationship, self-esteem, and emotional regulation. And those are the few of the courses that they offer at this time. So is this organization having an impact? Yes, it is. More than 85% of therapy clients are better able to plan for their safety. More than 70% of therapy clients have improved communication skills, and the True Man participants showed a 19% decrease in gender teasing. Also, more than 100% of participants have been trained on dating violence prevention. I did fill out the scorecard, which, Bill, I'm submitting to you my homework now. It scored pretty low, which I got a 15 out of 18. What I found was that they scored a 1 on their expenses for management and overhead, and that's just because they have a lot of instructors to train these teenagers. And I also did reach out to this organization just to kind of get more information about their overhead and their management. And I am currently waiting on that response, that information at the moment. I selected this organization because I have a passion for ending relationship violence and violence within the youth community, just because every day at least 1 out of 4 teenagers experience some kind of mental, verbal, or physical violence, which can lead to trauma and violent cycles. Children and youth who are exposed to violence experience emotional, mental, and social damage that can affect their developmental growth. Some children lose the ability to feel empathy towards others. Others feel socially isolated, unable to make friends as easily because they're socially discomfortable and confused over what is acceptable and more. I just feel like it's important to teach the youth healthy relationships and ending violence and teaching them red flags to prevent these causes. I myself personally, and I know of many others who've survived violent experience as a teenager, so I just feel strongly about educating others to end that cycle. So no, I have not been involved in this organization in the past at all, but I do plan on getting involved. Right now, they have a volunteer opportunity to be a virtual True Man class assistant. These classes are aimed to challenge boys and men to become allies in prevention of gender-based violence through team framework, and the assistant pretty much helps set up and facilitate the classroom virtually. So that's something that I'm looking into to get involved in the class and teaching these young men.
Very nice. Nice job. So, Monique, I obviously haven't looked at the 990 yet. You know, there may be, you know, so Dan, I'm going to ask you to talk to this in a second. So come off mute. But when we look at it, we need to look and see how they characterized certain expenses, because there is a little bit of flexibility in how you do that, and they might have made it look worse than it is. You know, again, staff that is providing program services, I don't know that that would necessarily be characterized as management overhead. So that's why I want to go and look at the 990 and dig into it a little bit. So, but Dan, do you want to make a comment? Dan and I talked a little bit about, you know, the email you sent me, and so there might be some opportunity here to you know, kind of figure this out and help the board understand what's going on.
Yeah, I think one thing you have to do is, if your scoring is a little lower than you like, you have to become the advocate for the organization. And so just spell it out in a paragraph or two, you know, why that number might be a little bit low, and there may be some particular reasons. And especially when they're kind of on the border, if there's some really legitimate, good reasons on why the number is down a little bit, a lot of times we'll take that into consideration. The other thing you might do too is on these score sheets, we double check them all. So maybe, you know, you scored them too low, and sometimes they'll bump up. It's not always the case. A lot of times it goes the other direction. But if we run into scoring that's a little bit low, we'll get back to you and say we need some more information. Become an advocate, so, you know, help pull them over the line if it's possible. It doesn't mean they'll approve it, but they might.
Yeah, and again, Monique, I think you did a really nice job, by the way, of laying out what they're doing, why it's important to you, and I think that's a big part of it. This is where, you know, when we first started going through the 990, we had that discussion that it's not a perfect way to evaluate things. It's just we do it. It's the same for everything, right? And so, you know, if you can, like Dan said, pull together a paragraph or two on, again, kind of telling a little bit more about the story and why maybe that number is a little bit lower than, you know, the typical guideline. And like I said, I'll look at the 990 as well, and maybe I can figure something out and see if there's another way that we might be able to, you know, to kind of beef up the story. But I think you did a super job telling us why you're passionate about it, why it's important. I think we all recognize that kind of a program is important. So let's go see what we can make happen for it.
Okay, and then I did have a question, Bill. So yeah. Is it a good thing at this point to kind of maybe reach out to them and be asking questions?
Absolutely. I think that's a great idea. And, you know, you can even, you're welcome to share the score sheet that we use and kind of walk them through it and say, so look, this isn't perfect, but this is, you know, this is how our class is scoring stuff. Can you help me understand it? Because again, then you can put that into the write-up, and the board's going to look at that, right? And they're going to have, I mean, Dan's going to be in that discussion, and Beth will be in that discussion as well. So they'll have a little bit of the kind of the background information. So I think it's great on any of these folks, if you haven't been involved in it, if you reach out to the organization and get a little bit more of an understanding of what they're doing and why. Again, I think we talked about it. Most organizations are happy to talk about their story. They understand, look, they all understand the kinds of things like donors ask, right? And the people that are interested and want to make sure that, again, the whole idea behind this is where you're putting your time and your talent and your money, is it the best use of your resources, right? And so because of a score on a scorecard, it could still be a fantastic use of your time. And especially if you're passionate and you pour into it and all of that. So, but yeah, I think it's a great idea to reach out to them and say, you know, and you don't have to be like, I guess what I'm trying to say is you don't have to beat around the bush. You can kind of tell them, hey, look, this looks like this ratio is kind of high compared to some other things we've seen. Can you help me understand why? And then again, you can take that as part of your write-up, and it, you know, it helps the whole story.
Okay, and so am I basically going to write up like about a page or two?
Yeah, I don't think it doesn't have to be a whole heck of a lot more, but I mean, I think what you want to do is in the write-up, definitely address where their score is lower than you'd like to see, and you know why they say that is. Okay. And I think that's the best. I mean, that's, you know, we can't fix everything, but we can explain it. And again, the passion and your desire to be a part of the organization and obviously their work they're doing is really what's critical, right? So I think that's the way I would approach it.
Okay.
And the other thing you can also remember this is from the presentations I've heard tonight, if the paperwork's in good order, whether or not we approve that organization doesn't matter. You've completed the requirements for the course. And if we end up not approving the organization you turn in, and it's kind of rare, you still can turn in a different organization, maybe that does the same thing. And we give you, I think, we kind of give you 120 days or something. I even have guys that work at passed the class and never got $1,000 to somebody, and I get on them all the time. I said, hey, we want to help fund somebody, go find somebody. So, we're here to do a balanced approach and to give the many grants to the organizations.
So basically, Dan, what you mean is like if this organization doesn't get approved, then I would have like a second chance to do another organization.
Absolutely.
You have as many chances as you want to get an organization through. The number one thing is you completed the class, so that kind of graduates you. But we give you plenty of time on organizations. We're usually asking people to finish it up and turn some in, because if people don't get somebody approved, that's not what we're after. We want somebody to get approved.
Any other questions, Monique? Like I said, again, nice job. Does anybody have any questions for Monique? All right. Well, we're gonna shift gears a little bit here. Dan, you have 2 short videos for us?
Yeah, I had also an announcement where I don't know if you guys are on our official email list yet, but we have another set of GU classes starting in September. And so if you have somebody in your family or a friend or anybody that wants to go to classes, make sure you let Beth or Karen know. And I think we start the 3rd week of September, and there's probably 4 different times. And the other thing is they possibly could get on the GU trip that you guys are pretty much all going on to Nigeria if we have room, which we probably will. So anyway, I just wanted to let you know about that. The other thing is if you've missed too many classes and can't get past on this group of classes, you can do your makeups on the next round. Let's just say you missed class 4 and didn't make it up, or you missed too many classes. You can take the class 4 and the next sets of classes that we put out, and then that completes the package of all the classes that we wanted you to go through. So one of the things I do, I like to show people a little bit of some of the trips we've done. I know you guys are all going to Nigeria, and the clips I have aren't going to be Nigeria. I have a Nigeria clip, but it's pretty wild. It's Nigeria is an interesting country, and the clip is of a group of military guys that went over there, and they kind of get the super duper ticket of being a little more at risk, let's just say. And so I'll try to find something, or at some point we'll find something that's a little more in line with what we'll do. Let me see if I can share my screen like I'm supposed to here. I'm going to show you. We went to Ukraine 3 years ago, and I'm going to show you a movie was made of the guy that we spent some time with, and it was in one of those movie things where they won awards and all that good stuff. And I'm going to show you a couple minutes of that Ukraine trip. And the gentleman's name is Gennady,
right?
Gennady, and he's kind of like the John Wayne of the Ukraine. He's kind of a interesting guy. So anyway, Can you guys see the screen, the video screen?
Yes.
Okay, so here we go.
Families or confined in a state-run institution.
К сожалению, наши отцы не знали, как быть мужиками, сплошь и рядом. Я надеюсь, что многим из вас повезло с отцами, но многим наверняка нет. My father, mother. Every time when I back to home, I think maybe they die. Maybe father kill mother. I find very often mother on the floor and my father there also just. And I try pulse. And when I check it and understood they alive, they just drunken, I was so happy. They drank every day. My mother produced vodka inside vanna. It was like hell for me because I love them. I need them. But this tragedy destroyed everything. Знаете, есть на Руси такая поговорка. Говорят, не вина, а беда их.
За 5 лет в Республике Пилигрим побывало больше 1000 детей. Большинство из них удалось вернуть семьи или пристроить в интернаты. В шее чесотка, пакетик с клеем, иногда и шприц с эфедрином. Эти ребята жили в подвалах и теплотрассах, попрошайничали, избивали и забирали деньги у пьяных. Сейчас они ухоженно учатся в школе, играют в компьютерные игры. В душе этих маленьких бродяг вернулось детство.
Каждый день на столах в Пилигриме появляются продукты, значительная часть которых – это то пожертвование, тот вклад, который делают ильичевцы. Давайте сюда. Давайте сюда, дорогого. Красавец. Давайте. Вот это называется заражение крови. Объясняю. Вот от этого умерли уже миллионы людей. Убеди меня, почему я опять должен тратиться на медикамент? Убеди. Почему я должен сейчас забрать деньги, вместо того, чтобы купить кеды, мороженое пацанам, девчонкам, кто ведет себя нормально, мороженое не купить, а бабахать сумасшедшую сумму на может быть твое излечение. Чтобы ты опять потом загонял им в вены иглу где-нибудь в подвале. Нет, поверь, не буду больше ничего. А ну подняли руки, не стесняясь. Кого он колол? Хоть раз в жизни. Подняли руки. Поэтому я не уверен, что исцеление лучший вариант. Если бы я был Богом, я бы точно не дал исцеление. Вот я такой. Вот что хотите со мной делать? Скорую, что там надо делать? Любые деньги, все, что мы можем сделать.
So that gives you a little glimpse into Gennady. The short video is called Almost Holy, and it's really well done. Anyway, our group was able to spend 3 or 4 days with them over in the Ukraine. A group of, I think it was 12 or 13 people. One of Bill's good friends was on that trip. And so anyway, it was quite an interesting thing. Ukraine is kind of almost always in the war with Russia. And so sometimes it gets a little dicey over there. Anyway, we did that trip 3 years ago. This other one is a trip we haven't done yet. And it's, I always like to look at things that are potential trips and that are interesting and they're different. And this is in the country of Paraguay, South America. And it's a real short video. I don't know if any of you have ever heard of Landfill Harmonic, but that's what this one is.
Mi nombre es Ada Maribel Ríos Bogado, tengo 13 años y toco el violín.
Me llamo Juan Manuel Chávez, más conocido como Baby. Tengo 19 años y toco el cello. Este cello está hecho de una lata de aceite, la madera tirada en la basura y las clavijas son de una vieja cuchara para golpear la carne y para hacer el ñoquis. Y suena así.
Una comunidad como Caldeura no es un lugar para tener un violín. De hecho, un violín cuesta más que su casa.
En ese grupo acá mismo encontramos el colador de violín. Y de ese empezamos los instrumentos reciclados. La familia que acá vive recicla todo lo que hay en la basura y se vende. No pensaba antes que yo voy a hacer ese instrumento. Y me siento demasiado feliz cuando estoy viendo a un niño que está tocando un violín reciclado.
Cuando yo escucho el sonido del violín, siento como mariposa en el estómago, así una sensación que no sé cómo voy a explicar.
La orquesta de instrumentos reciclados es una orquesta que toca instrumentos hechos con la basura.
1, 2, 3.
Y mi vida sería... Sin la música estaría decoreíble.
La gente se da cuenta que no tenemos que tirar la basura muy fácilmente. Y no tenemos que desechar a las personas muy fácilmente.
You changed my mind. That's what I want. That's what I want to give my money to.
Anyway, those are some of the one place we've been to, and one place I'd like to see a group go to at some point. It took me about a year and a half to get a contact with the landfill harmonic people. But anyway, I made it. But anyway, that gives you an update on our trips. It's a sad year. We all know that. We had to postpone every trip except for Bill's into next year. And next week I have to cancel our Mexico trip, service trip, and push it into 2021. So I'm hoping we get somewhere in the first quarter, but we'll see. So anyway, that's the update. Thanks a lot. If you have any questions, just let us know.
Dan, thank you. Let's see. I want to get to the right slide here. All right. So we'll do a little bit of work on retirement and some interesting fun facts about retirement, because we all understand, everybody's wondering, what do I retire? When do I retire? What makes sense? Will I have enough money saved up? All of that good stuff. So, the idea of retirement is actually relatively new. Honestly, it's only been the last probably 200 years that it's even been an idea. And so let's bear with me. So in fact, there's no real historical basis for it. Again, it's only been around about 200 years. For the last 6,000 years, people needed just work as long as they were able to, just to survive and provide. So families stayed together. Again, I'll say in the old days, you heard a lot more about family units with grandparents, maybe great grandparents and kids and everything all living together. And then, you know, really until about 200 years ago, very few people died of what today we would call old age. So again, the idea of retirement really is pretty new in the history of all of us. So, you know, historically, what happened is the economy grew in the, you know, the 19th century, in the 1800s. Things like child labor laws and 40-hour work weeks, and then retirement was invented. And so, you know, when, you know, one of the things you have to think about is what came first in determining how long your work week was. You know, how productive you were. Like if you're a farmer and you have all your chores done, you're done for the day. Or how many hours you worked as industrialization kind of hit. So when Social Security was first passed, the retirement age was set at 65. And so it was passed in 1935. Anybody want to have a guess at what that? I have the data on men here, so I don't mean to, you know, I don't mean to leave you ladies out. But what do you think the expected lifespan of a man was in 1935?
42.
Say again?
42.
All right.
Definitely not. Definitely not. Like 79, 80.
Okay. All right. So
75.
Yeah, in 1935, the life expectancy of a man was 68. So Social Security was originally designed to cover about 3 years in retirement. All right, so think about that. So 2017, the life expectancy of a man was 79 years. In 2017, the life expectancy of a woman was about 81 years. And so, you know, that's kind of crazy when you think about it, right? So now, instead of having to cover 3 years, if we retire at 65 and live to 79, it's got to cover 14 years. So very, very different, you know, different kind of a dynamic nowadays. So what, you know, Social Security has changed. And I'm sure, you know, you guys are all pretty young, so I'm probably not having to worry about all of this yet. But so Social Security considers full retirement age 67. If you wait until you're 70, you actually end up with about a 27% larger payment in Social Security. And then if you retire early, they now consider age 62 early, you would get about a third less. So the Social Security system is actually incenting people to want to stay at work longer. So, you know, what's really going on here? I mean, you know, we hear a lot about retirement, you know, and for many Americans, it's become the main goal, right? They want to get to their golden years. They want to finish working and do whatever they want to do. So they gear their working years around the day when they can sit around and if you're I'm not a golfer, but if you play golf, you know, you can sit around and play golf twice a week or 3 times a week or whatever. People consider things like early retirement, talking about retiring at 60 or 55 or 50. And there's all these websites and calculators that are out there to help, you know, if you want to figure out how to do that. But here's some more interesting statistics. So retirees were studied for 18 years based on being in one of 4 groups: healthy retired early, healthy retired after 65, less healthy retired early, less healthy retired after 65. So basically, the healthy group and the less healthy group were less likely to die sooner if they waited to retire till after they were 65. The point here is that they're making you live on average 10 years longer if you don't retire early. And why is that, right? Part of it is perspective, right? Part of it is, you know, it's good for you when you get right down to it. So forget the idea that you deserve your time off when you won't have anything to do and it'll be great. you know, if you're able to work, plan on working as long as you can, as long as you're able. And then this is actually kind of interesting too, right? If you don't enjoy your work, finding work you do enjoy, because it gives your life purpose and it gives you something to think about. Now, it doesn't mean you have to work in a 9-to-5 job. You might be volunteering. You might be working kind of a part-time thing or whatever. But the bottom line is that being at work, I think part of it is it keeps us engaged, keeps our minds healthy, and thinking about the future. So if we consider a change in our perspective, rather than working every day so that I can retire and play golf 3 times a week, maybe think about what you can do today to make your world and your life more fulfilling, rather than thinking about you're going to do that at some point in the future. Definitely, and I'm not saying, and giving university is definitely not saying don't save for your retirement, just work until you're done. But save for your retirement based on what you might want to fulfill later on in your life, right? Don't make it a big bank account is not going to necessarily be fulfilling for you. And so if you want to work towards a time when you can devote your time to volunteer work, that's a very worthy alternative. And then of course at GU we'd say, and be generous with everything else. So if you think about it, again, we've, like Power Plus, I've heard Steve Bray say it a number of times, and it's definitely, again, I've been here for only 3 years, but you can see it. As long as you're able, physically and mentally and all that, you're certainly encouraged to stay here at Power Plus. And I mean, it's a stated goal. And I will tell you, I've never, so I'm 58. I've been working since I got out of college. I graduated college at 22. So for 36 years or 33 years, I never had anybody say anything like that to me. If you enjoy what you're doing, keep doing it. Keep doing a good job for us. We're glad to have you here. And so it's just a very, very different perspective on, on retirement and again, what you can do later on in your life. So at any rate, I just wanted to, we didn't get a chance to cover that last week. And I wanted to get through it for you guys. Because I think the statistics are pretty interesting, and again, it gives you a different perspective. And I will say, for example, in the Bible, nowhere does it talk about retirement, right? It talks about serving and continuing to do our work throughout our lives. So I think that's probably not a bad watchword for us as we're considering this. And again. I would just say from my personal experience, I know very few people who, after a career of working and being productive and raising a family, that just completely punch out and totally retire really, really well. I don't know a lot of people that have done that. I do know a lot of people that have retired and done something else with their life, whether it's, again, volunteering, working part-time capacity, tutoring, whatever the case might be. But again, I think staying active and staying engaged is not only good for your body, but it's good for your mind as well. So any comments or questions on retirement and maybe a different way to look at it? All right. So, here's again. And so those of you who have not yet talked through your grant proposal, we're gonna give you an opportunity to do that today. Get it done before the last class. If some of you are the folks that like to slide in right at the last second, we will have some time to do this next week as well. But does anybody else, who would like to, we are going to do a couple more tonight. So who would like to go next?
I can go.
Kara, that'd be great. Thank you.
Let me, I thought I had it up. think I had it up. Yeah, so I chose Extended Hands of Hope as my organization. And I think I can tell you most of it from memory. Yeah, so they're based in Denver. They're probably 3 to 5 years old. They're newer, but they're a residential home for minors who have been victims of sex trafficking in Colorado. And that's a population that I worked with prior to coming to work for Cross Purpose. So I worked at a home in Chicago, and then I worked at a home in Memphis as well. And it was an organization that I looked at when I was moving here and saw a lot of good things. And somebody that I worked with in Chicago is actually working in fundraising there. So I made a connection with them, and yeah, they primarily provide residential care for girls who are identified by law enforcement as being victims of commercial sexual abuse and are taken into housing care, and they fill gaps in education and provide lots of coping skills and therapy, and work to bring a family back together if that is a viable and safe option. Their score was an 18. They got a perfect score. So I didn't look in too much after that. But besides that, they've served about 70 girls and their families thus far. And one of the things I like about them is they work with law enforcement and child protective services and other institutions in Colorado to help educate and identify girls who are in this scenario that may otherwise get missed in the system. So there's an education and prevention aspect of it, as well as housing the girls. And yeah, so I think their impact is primarily the 70 that they've helped to get off the street, and then also helping bridge that gap of the school and all of those pieces that they've missed. And I have not had a chance to get involved with them, but yeah, I've worked for a number of organizations like it before I moved here, but I'd love to volunteer with them.
Thanks, Kara. So is there I don't want to say, I know it's not probably set in stone, but how long is this kind of a program? Is this kind of something that would take years to get people through, or what? I mean, do they expect when they bring somebody in that they're going to have to work with them for 3 months, 3 years? I mean, is there anything, just trying to get a sense of how long it takes to get people through that?
Yeah, so since they're minors, I think the ages that they have in the house right now are probably 12 to 16. So they are certified to house children, but I think it's case by case according to if, you know, the child can be placed with a safe family member, or I don't think they would want to put them into the foster care system. So I think it's kind of an individualized case by case basis based on how young they are. I think they would try to probably get them into a safe family or an adoptive family. So what I've gathered is about 2 years to get them to some kind of stability and back into the regular school system and back into those pieces. But otherwise, I think they help girls age out well as they can for what they've been coming from.
Gotcha. Other questions? Nice job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Kara, did you work for the same company in Chicago and Memphis?
I didn't. They were both local. So one was through a church in Chicago called Naomi's House. And that's one of the women that I worked with is now fundraising for Extended House of Hope. And then I worked for an organization called Restore Corps in Memphis, but they were both local serving.
Serving to Giving Hands.
Sorry?
they're similar to the organization that you're researching.
Yeah, yeah. So they all do a similar thing, just based in their city. Yeah, working with local law enforcement, helping get girls who are being trafficked out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Hey, Kara, I might be wrong about this, but I feel like the last time I taught this class, we actually had a woman from Chicago that I think she did her project on Naomi's house.
Yeah,
Small-
that's very they're sponsored by Moody Bible.
Okay.
So it's a pretty big, they have a pretty large sponsorship and reach there. And
Gotcha.
yeah, they're growing pretty well. So if it wasn't local, that was who I was planning on doing, but maybe do good research to find people out here.
Gotcha. Well, I was just thinking small world, right?
Yeah.
All right. Any other questions for Kara? All right, who's up next? Dun, 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 dun. Come on, we can do a couple more. I just want to say, because Cameo's not said anything yet tonight, and I know she's been here the whole time. I kind of feel bad because she already did hers.
Okay, that's what I was saying, because I was just thinking like, so who hasn't went yet? Because I hope y'all ain't waiting for me. I went last week, so. But I'm listening. I'm here for sure. I just hopped in my car, so I'm driving now, so I don't want to be on video being distracted. But I heard.
No, I'm messing with the Cameo. I'm definitely messing.
I just wanted to respond to everything.
Yes.
I just wanted to respond to everything. Retirement, that piece was very yes.
So did we get we haven't gotten all the Jansmen done yet, have we?
No, you have not. You have not. And I am texting them and I'm hollering up at the window. So, oh, there's Champ. Hey, Champ.
Oh, see, he's making believe like his video froze now, so he doesn't have to talk.
It looks like he's walking into a different room. I know he has his paperwork, and so does Peyton, and so does Spurgeon.
It is one that I did. I actually did it in high school. I was part of it. So it's basically a class that they put into schools, and it's exactly what it sounds like. You make a chess move. They teach you how to do chess. And sorry, I'm catching my breath. I just ran. It was really cool what they did. I'll just read their description off their website so you can know what they do. Make a chess move disrupts the school to prison pipeline by developing tenacious learners, compassionate leaders, and ethically driven critical thinkers. Through the game of chess, Malcolm has designed a research-based curriculum that identifies and targets positive youth protective factors and the reduction of youth risk factors. The curriculum is delivered to youth ages 8 to 24 with an emphasis on developing staff and young leaders from program participants. So it's basically run by this one guy called Phil, and Phil is awesome, and I love him. He's a very passionate person and a great leader and teacher, and I got to know him during my time that I did my class in high school. It was like sophomore year, and it was one of my most memorable classes. Basically, one time I remember that while we were in class, he had us like lined up, and this was a class of like 20 people, and he's like teaching us chess. And I like love chess personally, but he set us up in a row, and based off of our race, gender, and I think it was like financial ability, you got ranked in the line, and whoever was in the front of the line had the least likelihood to be put in prison based off of where they were. And whoever was in the back of the line had the highest likelihood to be put in prison or to have like hard times in life. And that just like, it hits you when you see your friends behind you or in front of you, and it gets real. And so basically Phil went into like all these classes and basically kind of like taught us things that I don't know how many of us even have heard before, or any of my friends have heard before. And so,
Yeah.
What's up?
I got a question.
Go ahead.
Give me a Tess Whitaker.
Oh, is this Cameo? Yeah, I can't even, sorry, I didn't hear you. I can't even see you. That's Whitaker. Yes. Yeah.
That's
You were
dope
gonna
that you did him. I was going to do
Yes.
Macum. Did you
Oh,
know
yeah,
I
I
was where
saw
I
that.
worked with Philip?
Yeah, I heard. I saw on the, or my dad told me or something. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
but
dope
you're
that
doing
you
Young
did
Life.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, for
Yeah.
sure.
I thought it would have been cool if we like both did it. Because we could like both get in 2,000, like $1,000. But that's cool. Imagine.
Yeah.
Um,
I was going to, but his rating was low. So when I was reading the paperwork, I was like, well, dang, you know, because I definitely did the I-99.
yeah.
Yeah, but that's dope. You're dope.
Wait, did you get a low score on the 990 analysis for him? Cameo?
Yes, unless I did it wrong.
Oh, maybe I did it wrong. I don't think I did it wrong, but he got 18 for me. You know what? I could double check it though. It's cool.
You guys compare notes.
Yeah, we'll compare notes. What did you get?
I'm on my way inside. I'll text it to you. I don't know. Maybe like a 16
Oh shoot.
or 14.
Okay.
It was something pretty low, but we.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
All right, keep
I'll
going,
check
Champ.
it
What
okay,
else do
keep
we need to
going.
know?
I'll keep going. Let's see. Yeah, he had a big impact. The class didn't necessarily like personally change my life, but it did change like kids that I knew, their lives. One guy, Mark, who I was close to, and he always beat me. He was just like the smartest kid in the class. He got super into it, and he got involved in tournaments with it and things like that. And I saw it make a really positive impact on his life, and had a really close relationship with Phil. And so that was just cool to see how it does impact kids and how it gives them hope, because it's designed to, just through teaching them chess, to teach their minds how to think ahead and how to teach their minds how to avoid things or how to plan accordingly in their future, while also giving them curriculum that's pretty socially aware. So really cool. And it's also super local. It's like right in my neighborhood. The 990 analysis that I got 18 from it. And from the last 3, it's such a small organization that I got 3% or 0% on the last 3. I think. I hope I don't do it wrong. But it's just run by Phil pretty much, and I think he has a small staff. On the tax return, he only made $1,000 himself from the entire thing. So it's not like he's in it for money and he's not paying anybody to do it. He's just doing it out of his own time because of how much he cares. So doing this for him, I think would be a really cool thing.
Comments? So I'm going to make one, and I would tell you, don't sell yourself short. I think what you said was, it didn't have a specific big impact on me because I just heard you spend 5 minutes talking about what an impact it had in your life. So the impact is going to be different. I mean, maybe you don't want to play chess every day, but it's pretty clear at least pretty clear to me that you got an awful lot out of that. You've gotten a lot out of that relationship and out of that organization. So, and part of it is, you have to remember, Champ, I'm a sales guy, right? So the glass is always half full, and I'm always looking for, how can you make a positive impact in discussions with people? So if you were briefing the board, I think they'd all say the same thing. It obviously made an impact in your life. Maybe not just with the chess piece, but so just a different perspective for you.
Cool. It's nice to hear. Thank you.
Anyone else? All right, look, guys, we'll do one more person.
I'm working on mine right now, so I might have it done by the next class, but I'm working on it.
Okay.
Jeff,
you haven't gone yet, have you?
I have not. I meant to ask you guys this week. I wanted to do one that was already done, which is Save Our Youth, and then so I didn't know. I meant to ask if two people could do the same one or not.
That's a point of order. We're going to ask Dan to chime in on that.
I think it's okay. Sometimes it's like everything else in life. There's some basic guidelines, and that one's never really been hard and fast. So I'd say try it.
All right, and then the other option I was going to do, well, both of my top two is Save Our Youth and Young Life, because I'm involved with both of those. But I believe also Cameo did Young Life. Is that right? Cameo or something?
The other thing you got to remember, well, as long as you're not on staff with either one.
I'm not on staff with either one. Okay, and then the issue, which I can chat offline about, is with Young Life, is it looked like their 990 was like part of their global one, and so like the numbers are super skewed because some was like a local. I don't know. It just looked like
I mean, I think so. I would say go with Save Our Youth, right? In that case, because I think unless you can break it out. So okay, all right. Well, do you want to do that tonight? Or you want to do it next week?
We'll do it next week so that I can speak more intelligently about it.
Okay, that's fine. Let me come back to my slideware for you guys. Preview for next week. Hey, so look, you guys have seriously done great. Let's see, am I missing something?
Let me ask you a question. Raise your hand if you've done Poverty Inc. and you submitted the fill-in sheet.
Yeah, so Dan, that was a pretty late ad requirement. We never talked about that until this week.
Oh, okay.
Good. Poverty Inc. video, but we didn't talk about turning anything in.
Yeah, it's been there from the beginning, but
yeah, and folks, that's on me. So there's in your packet in the GU handout, it's a little, I don't know, 3 to 5 questions or something like that in the Poverty Inc. video. So if you can pull that out and take a snap of it or scan it and send that to Beth in the next week, that would be great.
Yeah, we just do that to verify you watched it.
Yeah.
Or
right.
Karen, if they don't have it, ask Beth for a copy again.
Yeah, like I said, I did not emphasize that at all, so I kind of feel like that's kind of on me.
It's okay.
All right. Thank you. Dan gave me a gimme putt. All right, so one class left. And so like I said, you guys have done great. Next week, we do have a little bit of, kind of, again, going over why people give. We're going to talk about some more of the trips that are coming up that are scheduled. And we will start off with finishing out the grant proposals. So if you haven't had a chance to do it, expect to be doing it at the beginning of class, next Thursday. And then we'll be done.
Bill, let me ask you a question for you say we're done. Did we have any discussion on Poverty Inc. at all in the class?
Yes.
We did, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Thanks.
You're on vacation.
I know. I'm always off somewhere. All right, I just wanted to make sure we spent a little bit of time with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I clarify, ask a clarifying question?
Sure, Jen.
So I just want to make sure I've got this checklist in my brain. Jan's fam, we watched the Poverty Inc. We'll answer those questions and take a pic and send those in, correct?
Yes, please.
Okay, and then we verbally talked about those nonprofits we were interested in, but the 2 pages that I saw in the email, or 3 pages, we need to fill that out and send that in as well. Is that correct?
That plus the 990 that you did.
Got it. Okay, we'll do it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure.
Oh, one more question. There was a gangle of us, a bunch of us that missed last week for wisdom teeth and stuff like that. So do we need to watch the video from last week, correct, and write a paragraph? Where do I get that video from?
So Beth,
Okay.
or you can also send me an email and I'll get it to Beth. But yeah, I think she's the keeper of the makeup class videos.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure.
Okay, George, Bill, excuse me, that leads me to a question too. I submitted all 3 of those assignments for the nonprofit review. Those
right.
questions, though, I answered in a Word document. Like I just followed the structure.
Yeah.
So do I need to redo that, or I'm
no,
good?
No. I think you're fine. So, you know, like I kind of look at them, but really, if Beth is really the one that's going to put the package together for the board for their review. So if she has any questions, she'll definitely let you guys know. Like if it's, oh wait, you know, like sometimes, you know, if, for example, if you forgot the 990 form or something like that, she would come back to you and ask you for that.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Excellent.
Last question, Mr. Bell. Our last class is next week. Do you want all of the information in by that class time?
Would prefer that, yes, Jen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you.
I think part of it is, you know, if something needs to be, I'll say reworked or you know, relooked at or something like that, well, then we'll have some time after the class. But I like putting kind of a deadline on it to get it all in and you know, close this chapter, kind of move on to the next one for all of us.
Bill, do we get a graduation tassel for GU for our hats?
You know, no, I don't think we do. I think you do get a certificate.
Oh, that's cool.
I think we should go out for a graduation dinner or ice cream or something. We need to start.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
We have Zoom ice cream parties. That would be so much fun.
You know, so this is probably too much information, and I know it's getting late, but you know, I'm a remote person for Power Plus. There's only a couple of us, and they're typically salespeople that are remote, except for our technicians. And so every once in a while in Corona, they do like a barbecue, or they're doing this and they're doing that, and everybody's like, "Yeah, we do a Friday call, and then everybody's going to a barbecue." And I'm like, "What about me?" They're like, "Yeah, go get yourself a barbecue sandwich. It's just not the same."
Yeah, we'll send it to you.
Yeah, thanks, Dad.
Hey, one other thing too is on some of our material, we're not going to go over it in class. We're just going to give you our material. Did you explain that at all, Bill? The one section?
No, I really hadn't. I mean, because you and I just talked about that like the other day.
Okay. What's that section called again?
It's like poverty. Bear with me.
We have kind of a new optional section, but we believe you guys have already taught all that as cross-purpose. And so we'll just give you our material. You can do with it what you want. And we'll just give that to you. That way, if you ever teach the class or have a class of non-cross-purpose people, it's one of the sections that we normally put in our classes. So I asked Bill, I said, let's just give them the material and you can do with it what you want to do. Or you can do whatever you want with it, actually.
All right. Any other questions? All right. Well, listen, folks, thanks again for your time and